This is the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA, a weekly recap of your Philadelphia Eagles and news around the NFL. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's, tonight's show is brought to you by Rob's Automotive and Collision, BCWSA, Chickies and Pete's, Allstate Fairless Hills Tom LaCroix, Penworth Financial Services, Penn Community Bank, Capital Grill, Ventresca's LTD, Independence Blue Cross, and SEPTA. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Great to have you with us at Chickies and Pete's in the great Northeast. Merrill and Bob with you once again, and it is Dallas Week. And who would you rather have as a guest on Dallas Week than the man who conquered the Cowboys single-handedly and took the Eagles to Super Bowl 15? He is my favorite coach ever of all time. How about a nice welcome for Dick Vermeil?
Thank you. Thank you, Merrill. You're so complimentary.
Well,
I'm not sure I deserve it, but thank you.
Listen,
I appreciate it.
The world knows you deserved it. You became a member of the Hall of Fame 2 years ago.
Thanks to guys like you. Thanks to guys like you.
Well,
you know a lot of guys. You know?
Well, I know a few, but every time I talk to anybody, they said, of course, why isn't he in already?
Thank you.
It's been great. Dick, we'll talk about Dallas and all of that stuff, but initially, I just want to hear your immediate feeling about this team. This Eagles team.
Well, first off, I think Howie Roseman has done an unbelievable job of supplying the talent to coach. I don't think another team in the league has any better talent. Maybe close to equal, but not better. I think the team is getting better as they play. I think, the new coordinators are maturing with the job, and they are able to overcome being negative in turnovers and still win. That's a
minus
good
-3.
That is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's amazing.
And
that's
7-1.
Yeah, and they're 7-1. There's only 3 teams negative in the NFL of 15 that are winning. They're one of them. Of course, the Chiefs are one of them too. And anyway, it's just they're a real good football team that I think is going to keep getting better.
I really agree.
Yeah.
Your thoughts about Jalen Hurts?
I tell you, he might be, in my mind, if I'm going to take one guy out of the league and go coach a football team, I'd take him along.
You would take him.
Yeah. What limitation does he have?
None.
No.
None. He's got the arm. He's got the legs. He says he's a triple threat, and he doesn't say it egotistically. He said, I like to think of myself as a triple threat. I use my arms, I use my legs, and I use my head.
And you combine that with great character.
And he is. Have you met him? Have you talked to him?
No, I've met him, but I haven't really talked to him. But to me, being raised by a football coach as a dad, what you talked about around that table all your life was football. And also the structure of a coaching family usually is very defined. And I think he's a great product and a great representative of the Eagles and the National Football League. He has no limitation.
I agree. You once told me that if you had your preference, you'd take kids of coaches and kids from military families.
Yes, when they're anywhere close to equal, I tried to do that because it eliminates some issues sometimes that occur once you start coaching these guys. And very seldom would you ever have a problem with a former coach's son or a military kid. None. And many times they excel beyond what you might think they might because of their discipline, their structure, and their work ethic. Yeah.
What about all the drama, though, Dick? I mean, don't coaches need that? You go.
Oh,
I'm being
today,
a little facetious.
Bob, as you know, the drama today is 50 times what it was when I was coaching here.
I mean,
people didn't have cell phones. They didn't have TikTok and all these other things. And the number of people covering a game and evaluating it, and then it just goes on and on and on. It's not even close. So.
Does that make you laugh when you sit back and you hear analysis and you've watched the same game?
Well, everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that, like Merrill sitting right there, really know what they're talking about. They've seen it before. They know what is good. They know what is not good. And there's a lot of reporters. There's a lot of young guys that I feel sometimes move into the negative area, because that's a quick way to establish a reputation.
Yeah.
You know, it really, and there's some guys that are national today that's how they made it.
Well, Chris Sims does it all the time.
Does he?
Yeah, Phil Sims' son. He'll
Yeah.
say something that you go, "What, is he crazy?"
Yeah.
But people are talking about, "Hey, did you know that Chris Sims said this?" Even if it's wrong.
Yeah.
Even if it's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I have to tell you a funny story, and you'll appreciate this. You brought an older guy back to help advise you with the offense by the name of Sid Gilman. And we're playing Washington the next day at RFK Stadium, and we're staying, as you'll remember, at the Crystal City Marriott.
Yes, I remember that.
And I would drive Sid crazy with questions, but he was always nice to me. And I went up with him in the lobby at the hotel that night, and I said, "Coach," I said, "can you tell me how you use the hash marks in the passing game?" So he said, "Come over here." And he sits me down in the lobby, and he said, "I want to tell you something." He said, "Every game you go to, there are 60,000 offensive coordinators in the stands."
Yeah.
He said, "The most overrated thing in football is play calling." He said, "Tomorrow we're going to play this team, and we know what they're going to do. They're going to give the ball to 44, John Riggins. They're going to run the counter tray.
Yeah.
We know they're going to do that, and we're still going to have our backsides handed to us because we can't stop it."
Yeah.
And he was amazing about that. Here's the great offensive genius, but he's telling us that when you get down to it, it's, as they say, Jimmy's and Joe's more than X's and O's.
Yeah. Well, you know, Sid Gilman, I brought Sid Gilman to coach me,
Yeah.
really, because I wanted to learn more. You know, he was the encyclopedia of football at that time, especially offensive.
Oh, yeah.
But also organizational and scheme-wise and practice-wise. And I learned so much from him. I had worked for George Allen in pro football and his staff. They're all defensive thinking guys.
Yeah.
I worked for Chuck Knox, a wonderful and a great leader. And he was talking about running the ball 60 times a ball game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was with Ted Marshall-Broda one year too, and I learned from him. But when Sid Gilman came there, he would look at me and almost say, "You stupid kid, come on, you know, you didn't know that?" I said, "No, Sid, I didn't know that, but thank you for teaching me." You know, he was very special in my career.
Oh,
Very
my
special.
goodness.
And then you had Al Saunders, who was really creative.
Yeah, no
I mean,
question. And
he
Mike
was-
Martz.
And Mike Martz.
Mike
yeah.
Martz. Oh, and
I mean,
Al Saunders was great because he was my offensive coordinator. He worked for me at the Rams one year as a
Okay.
receiver coach, and I brought him with me as the coordinator. He did a great job of coordinating the run and pass together.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of coordinators think they make their reputation on how well they throw the ball and how many times they throw it, because the running game is not sophisticated enough. And a lot of guys have tried to do that. They don't normally become successful.
Now,
But Al could blend it nicely.
Now, see, you brought up a name that makes me kind of smile. The name Chuck Knox.
Oh, yeah.
Because when the draft came one year, you wanted a wide receiver by the name of Perry Tuttle out of Clemson.
Yeah.
And Chuck Knox, your good friend, traded up to get ahead of you, and he took Perry Tuttle. And who were you stuck with? Mike Quick.
Yeah. And that's, you know, when a real close friend asks me a question, I can't lie to him. And the coaches all say, "No, don't talk to your friends' coaches. Don't talk to your coaches," and all that. And so Chuck calls me before the draft. "What are you thinking?" I says, "I'm going to go after Tuttle. I like him, and you know he's got a great career. He's got a lot of experience, and I think he'll go to him." And it's, you know, they all had the same grade, about 3 guys. He moves ahead of me.
The other was Anthony Hancock from Tennessee.
Right. That's what a memory you have. It's amazing. He actually, the day before, traded up ahead of me so he could pick him.
Yes.
And everybody in the draft room knew right away, you talked to Chuck Knox.
Well, boy, did you luck out, because Perry Tuttle ended his career with, I think, 8 receptions.
Yeah.
And Mike Quick was amazing.
yeah.
Mike belongs in the Hall of Fame.
25 receptions. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know,
You were close.
He wasn't one of the courageous kids. You know, college ball, you could run across the middle. The NFL in those days, you didn't go across the middle.
No.
He didn't like going in there.
Yeah.
Mike Quick loved going in there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's funny. The Eagles picked up a defensive back, a safety last week, Kevin Byard from Tennessee. And he was talking about growing up. He was in Philadelphia until he was 14,
Right. Yeah.
and then he moved to Atlanta. And he was growing up, he said, "I idolized 3 players. I idolized Brian Dawkins, I idolized Ed Reed, and I idolized Troy Polamalu. Those
Yeah.
were the role models for me.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, well, thank goodness he didn't learn from them, because everything they did would today be illegal.
Oh, no,
They
yeah.
get personal fouls on every play.
The plays they made today are not legal, and they're in the Hall of Fame because they made them.
Yeah, that's true. That's amazing.
That's a good column.
Yeah.
Dick, how has the game changed since, well, you coached 3 teams, actually. You coached the Eagles, then 16 years later, you came back and won a Super Bowl with the Rams, the St. Louis Rams, and then you finished your career in Kansas City working with Carl Peterson.
Yes.
How has the game changed now? When you watch the game on TV, what do you see that makes it different from what you originally got into?
Well, it's far more wide open game.
Yeah.
They're spread all over the field now. They're all aiming and trying to get 6 guys in the box, so you run against fewer people. Yeah, from a defensive standpoint, you don't have to attack as many people to be successful running the ball. So it's more wide. It's more exciting game. They're scoring more points. I think it's different. They play the game standing up more so now. If you watch, you don't see many piles on the ground. They're all standing up.
Yeah.
One reason, maybe a few more injuries in terms of leg injuries and that kind of stuff. That's different. The passing game is far more sophisticated. The overall scheme of things, what people do with the ball, is far more clever than it used to be. In fact, last night's game reminded me of 1980.
Yeah.
Watching those two teams line up, I formation, fullback, run the power,
Isn't that right?
run the ISOs and those kind of things, run the I toss.
Yes.
It's almost against
I
the
noticed
law.
that. Yeah.
You know what? A little of that in every offense is very good.
Uh-huh.
Not enough people do it, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
How about the brotherly shove? Is that the?
Yeah, it's different.
how do
I'm not a big fan of it. What made me more of a fan of it when they ran the trick play often.
Yes.
And handed it off.
So-
I've been waiting for them to do that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ran
And
that
they
off to
executed it beautifully. I
Yeah.
mean, like you draw it on the blackboard. So, it's part of the game today. I wouldn't be surprised if they take it out.
well, they tried last
I
year
know.
and it didn't work.
I haven't heard anybody say, in terms of a coach, say they like it. Have you?
Well, Nick says because it puts us in 1st and 9. But why, instead of taking it out, why don't they put one together? Why
Well-
don't they learn to stop it?
Some people do, and some people haven't been as successful. Probably, first off, they didn't originate the concept, and there's little tiny details to make that play more successful than other people don't
Yeah,
know.
yes.
And
Good point.
Nick and his staff know the little details. His explanation on the radio this morning about the fumble, that was, I didn't.
What did he say? I didn't hear.
Well, the backs coming in got there too soon, and it changed the exchange and tucking the ball away,
Right.
the rhythm of the play.
Uh-huh.
And that's what caused the fumble.
Because Mike Quick said to me one day, he said there's more to it
Oh, yeah.
than meets the eye.
Yes.
That there's a secret ingredient that the Eagles have that nobody has figured out yet.
Yeah, and they have it. And plus, they've got to find those offensive line are physical.
Yeah.
Our offensive line plays in a 2-point stance 90% of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now they get in a 3-point stance. Now they're more powerful in those positions, and they're trying to move vertically rather than stand high and just move where they want to go and find daylight.
Mm-hmm.
So, no one will do it better. 1, because they invented it and know the details of it. 2, the quarterback, and 3, other people. How do you practice against it during the week?
They don't. They don't practice it.
Yeah, how do you practice against
Because
it?
people get hurt.
Yeah,
They
and-
don't practice it.
No.
You know who you would have loved to have coached? You would have loved to have coached Jason Kelsey.
Oh, God. I get razzed by his brother, because I spoke to the team one time, and
To the Chiefs?
To Chiefs.
to
Every year
Travis.
I speak to the team.
Oh,
for
really?
Andy. And he's sitting there, and I see him, and I start my conversation. I love your brother. Every once in a while, he makes a little joke about it on his podcast.
Do you know Jason? Have you met Jason?
Yes.
Jason's a special guy.
Yeah.
And
special.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah. No question.
Yeah.
And not only because he's played a long time, he is very good football player, fundamentally, technically.
Yes.
In that. Yeah. He is at center what his brother is at tight end.
Yeah. Except he doesn't get as much attention for two reasons.
Dating the other gals, too.
That's right.
The Taylor Swift thing is out of control.
Oh, I know it.
But he's also Mahomes' go-to guy.
No question. And see, every ball you throw to him, I'll bet you 90% of them are shorter than any ball he throws to a wide receiver because he's out in front of them.
Uh-huh.
And some people are. Last week I saw a team doing the same things, but not with a tight end, getting the ball in those inside zones between the hash mark.
Yeah.
Higher percentage completion.
Yeah.
And when people play zone, they eat it alive.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to deal with that Taylor Swift thing if you were Andy Reid?
You know,
I mean, what would you tell him? Yeah.
You have no control of that.
Yeah.
No.
My thing, I always talk to players about a lot of things other than football. Always did.
Yeah.
Not that I had all the answers, but I had a lot of opinions. Yeah. And I would always say, don't ever forget what you really are. You're a football player.
Yeah.
As soon as you start thinking you're an actor, you're a commercial guy, and all that kind of stuff, your career goes downhill.
Bill Parcells once said, I don't want
imagine.
celebrity quarterbacks.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Really. I want football players. I don't want celebrity quarterbacks. And truthfully, the quarterback who won the Super Bowls for him was Phil Simms.
Yeah.
And he was not a celebrity quarterback. He became a celebrity
They tried to
later.
make him one.
Yeah.
Now.
All right. We'll be back right after this.
It's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. Here's a winner, fall football, and Chickies and Pete's mouth-watering snow crab legs. For a limited time, buy one and get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Enjoy the sweet, delicate flavor of snowy white crab meat dressed in our special blend of seasonings and spices. Pair it with an ice-cold draft beer or one of our signature cocktails. Buy one and get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday for a limited time. Restrictions apply. Chickies and Pete's.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, prove it.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Hi, it's Merrill. Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa is here to help you distress after the game. Visit them to restore, relax, or refresh with a much-needed massage or facial for an introductory price starting at just $79.95. They offer an abundance of facial and massage services. Visit any one of their 60 spas in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley, or go to handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details. Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
The life of an Eagles fan is a wild ride. Some years we triumph. Some years we don't. What never changes year after year is how we get to the game, shoulder to shoulder with our fellow fans on SEPTA. And this season, fans ride home free from NRG Station on the Broad Street line thanks to Unibet, an official casino and sportsbook partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Plan your trip to the game and learn more about free rides home, sponsored by Unibet at iSeptaPhilly.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing your first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit PennCommunityBank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here's your host, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And back we are, Merrill and Bob and Coach Dick Vermeil, my favorite coach ever. Dick, Dallas week. Do you still get excited about Eagles Dallas?
I do. You know, when we came here, they hadn't beaten them in a long time, and they were champions and Super Bowl teams, and I had such admiration for Tom Landry, you know. So we would work a high percentage of our time talking about playing Dallas someday and beating them in training camp. So it made it sort of a vendetta, but it took us 4 years to beat them. Yeah. Now, we would play them close. We'd get a punt block, or we'd drop a pass or miss a field goal. We couldn't beat them. But finally, in November of '79, we found a way to beat. And you mentioned, Bob, you mentioned Walton throwing a touchdown pass right before the half. You mentioned Tony Franklin catching a 59-yarder. But that really, to me, that and the Pittsburgh Steelers game that year, when they were undefeated world champions, and we beat them in Philadelphia.
I remember that.
That sort of exploded our confidence that we are real, you know, and every team needs that.
And that was with Terry Bradshaw, right?
Yeah, right. John Bunning intercepted a pass coming. He was throwing it out of his own end zone and ran it to like the 1 yard line.
Oh my goodness!
That's how we won the ball game.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Was Staubach coaching? Was he quarterback in most of those teams, or was it?
Staubach was, and then Staubach's, and then
Danny White.
Danny White.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get to know Tom Landry at all?
I did.
Tell me about him.
Well, you know, first I read his book, which was good. He grew up in a garage. His dad was a mechanic. I grew up in a garage. My dad was a mechanic.
Yeah.
He flew like 30 missions over Germany in a B-17 or 19, one of those fortresses. You know, and I admire that kind of man. And then here I am, a high school coach, a junior college coach, a college coach, and every Sunday I'm watching Tom Landry coach. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget the first game we played him. I think it was the second game of the season. In Philadelphia, I was nervous that he was on the field, and I was standing across from him. Yeah. And I got to know him, and you know, he was very respectful to me. One time, about 1977, one of the two, or it might be early '78, pre-game warm-up in Dallas, he signals me to come over to him, and I'm just hiring a kite. And he comes over and he says, you know, Coach, you're doing a really good job. He says, but you got to learn to relax. This is a hard business to stay in a long time with your temperament. That's what he told me. Well, I'll never forget that.
But he was the opposite of you. Now, I'm not saying you're both great coaches, but he was the opposite of you in
temperament.
He'd be home every night for dinner at 7 o'clock. And you'd go around the clock and sleep on a cot for an hour and go back to work.
He was a lot smarter. I could not make it easy. I was not smart enough to make it easy.
Oh, my goodness. But that's great, the fact that you got to talk to him.
I would see him at owners' meetings and that stuff, and he was always respectful. Another guy did that for me. It really helped me. Chuck Noll, because of Sid Gilman, I could ask Chuck Noll questions.
Really?
I could call him up, and he would give me an answer, even though we might have him on the schedule next year. You know, and Don Shula was respectful. Remember, we traded for a player off his team, gave a 4th round pick for a fullback, and I had him in training camp. I sent him back and got my 4th round pick back, and he was really surprised. How can he make me? Yes, he's all right, but. You know, we aren't going to be very good anyway. I just soon have my 4th round pick.
And he gave it back to you?
Yeah, we got it back.
What was Shula like?
You know, at first I didn't know if he could ever smile. You know, he was a very intense guy. And I've been on a lot of pro football field practices on Saturday, the day, and when they're running a 2-man offense and the head coach is running the drill. nobody could run it like he could run it. And you talk about players jump to his command. He was, to me, Don Shula was like, in our history, an Eisenhower, a MacArthur, a Patton combination.
Yeah, that kind of general.
He could have been a general in the Second World War and been successful. That's his demeanor. He's a leader, and a strong commander. And it was, I've talked to a lot of players, even at the Hall of Fame this last year, to guys that said that we didn't care for him, but we love him today.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Landry was he was on the staff of the New York Giants. He coached. It was Jim Lee Howell, the coach.
Right.
Landry was the defensive coach, and the offensive coach was Vince Lombardi.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not a bad staff.
No.
Okay, I have to ask you this about staffs. Tell me how many people you had on your Eagles coaching staff when you went to the Super Bowl in 1980.
We had 10 assistants.
10.
And we had 3 more than anybody else in the league. And
I was going to say, that was a lot.
Don Shula asked me one time, what are you going to do with all those guys? I said, Don, I had 10 assistants at UCLA, and Mr. Toe said I could have 10 here, so I need all the help I can get.
Did you know how many assistant coaches the Eagles have right now?
What, 22 or something?
28.
28.
We have to take a second plane now so that all the assistants could go on one plane. It's we need 2 planes when we travel.
Well,
we travel 15 minutes apart.
That shows you what a great owner Jeffrey Lurie is. But can you imagine? I remember, what's his name? Gene Stallings coaching the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
And
that went to Alabama, right?
Yeah. And I remember Don Coryell coaching the St. Louis Cardinals, and them telling me that Bidwell would not allow them. He would control how many coaches they had, and it would be 6. Today, if Bidwell with the old man was still, they'd have 6. Okay, he didn't believe in having enough people to teach everybody individually. And what they do now with these coaching staffs, they give each guy these little assignments that we used to stay up all night to do ourselves. See, now they spread it out. I think I had 16, 17 guys on my Kansas City staff. And the Rams staff, I think I had 12, something like that.
You're getting up there.
Yeah, I was getting up there.
Give you another dozen, and you're right there with the Eagles.
Yeah. Well, it's today the money the teams make, the budget's there to do it. It's no question. If you got the right people, some of them won't coach a player, but they'll provide you information that you didn't have time to break down in evaluation. And the other thing is, some guys, I know what I would do. I would have one guy assigned to watching every game every week, picking out the best offensive plays they saw that you don't have in your offense yet. Everybody steals. You as a coach coaching your team, you don't have time to do that.
Well, Nick Sirianni said that the other day. He said that he has people who are assigned to watch college games, come up with new ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you knew Bill Davis. Right?
I brought him here.
Yeah, you brought Bill Davis here. And it was
the dad.
I know the dad. I know the dad, Bill. And I got to know Bill very well.
Guy.
And he would take me in. He was back with Buddy in personnel.
Yes.
And he would take me in during the week and show me game tape of the opposition and tell me what I was watching. So I got to know him. And then subsequently, I got to know Billy Davis, his son, who Chip actually hired as a defensive coordinator. And Billy Davis said to me one time, he said, if I ever have a chance to become a head coach, and I still somehow hope he does because he's a good coach, he said, I would hope to work for an owner like Jeffrey Lurie, because Jeffrey Lurie says to his coach, yes. If you have a request, the answer is always yes. He will give that coach every bit of ammunition he needs.
I agree.
That's what you need.
Yeah, no question.
Leonard Toews was like that too, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he didn't have the money.
Oh, wow, okay. That's a
but
good point.
I actually turned down
It's different,
guys, because it was going to cost us a lot of money to sign him. And Leonard said, go ahead and sign him, but I knew we really couldn't afford it.
Really?
Yeah.
Even then, Leonard was leaking oil?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. All right, we're going to be back with Dick Vermeil right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, and we are prouder than ever to partner with the Philadelphia Eagles. Chicky and Pete's has been named the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we continue to serve as the official caterer of both Eagles training camp and the official caterer of the First Trust Bank Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Go where the players go. The official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. And here's the pitch. BCWSA water and sewer customers, you have a new and improved option to pay your bill that's convenient, reliable, and secure. Powered by Invoice Cloud, you can pay your bill 24/7 online, pay by text or phone, or sign up for AutoPay to avoid fees for late or missed payments. Visit bcwsa.net to sign up or for more info. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs. A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. Hi, it's Merrill. Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa is here to help you distress after the game. Visit them to restore, relax, or refresh with a much-needed massage or facial for an introductory price starting at just $79.95. They offer an abundance of facial and massage services. Visit any one of their 60 spas in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley, or go to handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing your first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit PennCommunityBank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here's your host, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And back we are, Chickies and Pete's up in the great Northeast. Bobby, time for our injury report.
That's right. This week's injury review brought to you by the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689. That's 215-806-3689. And really, the only injury of note that I see is Jalen Carter.
They say he
was
came
in and
back
out of the game with a back injury.
But the MRI was okay, and they say he's doing fine.
That's still
the
something
other
to monitor.
One, Grant Calcaterra, is being monitored for a concussion, and he missed a year of college football with a concussion, so they're going to be very, very careful with him.
Yeah.
And then there's one other in there, and he belongs on the report because there's a chance he may come back, and that is Cam Jurgens.
He's eligible to come back.
He is eligible to come back.
He had a foot injury, and
I think he will come back.
It sounds like they're finessing him.
All right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck with Opeta for another week.
I'd be surprised. I think he's coming back for this one.
All
I
right.
do think.
All right.
Dick Vermeil is our guest, and Dick, my favorite Eagles-Dallas memory is January 11th, 1981, the one that launched the Eagles into the Super Bowl. Tell us what that week was like leading up to that game, right up to Saturday night when you spoke to the team. I was with you because we were at one Buccaneer place in Tampa Bay, working out in Tampa. I was playing tennis every morning with Carl Peterson, and then we came back, and on Friday night, I did a simulcast. WIP was owned by Metro Media, which also owned the Cowboy station KRLD in Dallas.
Okay.
So Brad Sham, their announcer, came into the studio, and we had a show called A Tale of Two Cities, where I would take a call from an Eagles fan, and he would take a call from a Dallas fan. It was an amazing night. It was a memorable week. Tell us about that from your perspective.
Well, remember, we worked out of town.
Yes.
Because I thought I'd made a mistake as a leader, keeping us in town when we went to Tampa Bay the year before.
Yes.
And lost the second playoff game to Tampa, because we went down there and we're in the heat, and we had been working in the cold. And after pregame warm-up, I said to coaches, we're in trouble right now. These guys are exhausted already. They haven't perspired like this in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't play well. We recovered the second half a little bit and regained some strength and started playing better. But we just didn't have that edge. So I said, if we get in this situation again, working in cold, I think you can come from warm weather and play in the cold, but going from cold weather to play in the heat is tough. So we decided if we ever get in this situation again, we're going to go away. And Leonard said, fine. So that's what we did. And it paid off. All week long, they were different. And they had been an intense group and a very focused group anyway. They really liked playing together. They loved each other. And they were tough kids. And they had worked tough for a long time to get to this situation. And all week long, I just had a gut feeling there's no way anybody's going to beat this football team. To this day, I'd never been in a locker room like pre-locker room, pre-game that day. George Allen was a color columnist working television, and he was in the locker room with us. We come out for introduction, and I'm standing there.
This is game day.
Game day now. And George Allen is standing under the bleachers. Remember how he came out between the bleachers? And he signals me to come over. He said, Coach, I've never been in a locker room like that. There's no way Dallas can beat this football team.
Is that right?
Yeah. Emotionally, you could feel the focus. You could feel the intensity in just how they were breathing. They weren't snorting through their nose or anything. They weren't blowing steam or any smoke, but they were so deeply focused on what they had to do.
And you could see that.
You could feel it.
Now, all week, you were setting up the media by telling the media how great Dallas was.
No question. Well, I thought they might take us for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Because they beat us pretty good in the last game. And all we had to do is score more points in the second half to catch up to be able to get the home field advantage, which we did.
Yes.
And so I felt they might be a little overconfident. So I played on that side. I think they'll take us for granted. They'll maybe not take us for granted. Do a little bit what Ohio State did when we played them in the Rose Bowl, because they had beaten us like 43-21 in the regular season, in a national TV out-of-conference game. And I didn't think there was any way they would be as focused as we would be, because they'd say, oh, hell, we'll beat these guys. You already did it once, And I felt Dallas would feel that same way.
And you were right.
I was right.
You were right. Yeah. And the win, Ohio State, when you and the Bruins of UCLA buried the Buckeyes, that launched you into national prominence and brought you ultimately to Philadelphia.
That's why Jim Murray and Leonard Tost got on the airplane after the game and flew to California.
Yes.
I thought they were crazy, but that's what did it.
But they got their man,
and
they changed, and you changed Eagles history.
Yeah, well, a lot of people did. A lot of people, just like you're part of the history. You've seen more games than I have.
That's what happens when you do something for 47 years.
Yeah.
I didn't
still love doing it.
I still love doing it as much as I've ever loved it in my life. It's great.
It's another Hall of Fame coach you beat too, Woody Hayes. College football Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
but
he was my dad's favorite coach. My dad was almost sorry that I beat him.
No. Now, did you talk to Woody Hayes?
Oh yeah, later, and I. Actually, we brought him to the Super Bowl as our guest. Super Bowl 15. He was there.
I didn't know that.
He was there. Yeah. I had great admiration for him. Who wouldn't?
And you had coaches who had coached for him. Chuck
I
Clausen.
hired coaches. George Hill.
Chuck
Fred
Clausen.
Bruni.
They're all from Ohio State.
Yeah. Because I loved, I knew these coaches knew how to coach fundamental football, and they had a tough demeanor about them. And that infectious on a roster. It really is. And but later on, I got to know him, and in broadcasting, one time I went in there. He had a major operation, surgery, and he had to go back in after they had left a piece of sponge inside him.
And Woody Hayes?
Woody Hayes.
Yeah.
And I happened to be doing an Ohio State broadcast, so I went to the hospital to see him, and I said, God, Coach Hayes, what did you say to the doctor?
Oh, my God. I think he was.
You know what he said to me?
What?
He said, I says, the doctor, that's all right. In my career, I never made a mistake either. That's what he said to me.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I never knew that story.
Yeah, that's true.
I never knew that story. Now, how about the Super Bowl itself? That was a whole different story. What was your thought looking back?
Well, we didn't play well. And people say I had overworked them. That's an opinion, not a fact. We probably didn't. They said, well, you had bed checks. I told them I wanted them back in the hotel at 11 o'clock, and I wasn't bed checking them. And I said, if you get out of line and disrespect your teammates in the Philadelphia city, I will send you home and you won't play in the game. That's what I told them. And they knew I meant it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had a bed check on Friday night, and that we had no issues down there. Well, we just didn't play well.
Yeah.
I didn't game plan well. I called the plays. Sid and I and all of us did put the game plan together, but we went into the ball game with a bad matchup. We didn't have the only wide receiver we had started was Harold Carmichael.
Yeah.
Remember, Charlie had the broken jaw.
And you had Rodney Parker.
And Rodney Parker, who was a college free agent, a great kid. He could catch the ball, but he wasn't an NFL player yet.
No.
And they were a press man coverage team. And we didn't have the kind of people that could get off press man. So I used Wilbert in what we called a deuce formation a lot, him out as a wide receiver. And then Perry Harrington was a running back. Well, Perry Harrington was not Wilbert Montgomery.
No.
But Wilbert Montgomery split out, was a better receiver than anybody else I could put out there. And I think he was the leading receiver in the game. And that screwed us up. But when they knew we were in trouble, their defensive front was very good, and we were a zone blocking team, and they stepped the linebackers up into 30 defensive scheme, Matt Miller and those guys, and you had to go more man-to-man rather than zone principles. And that slowed us down in the running game as well. So they did a great job, and then we turned the ball over.
Well, it was Ron Jaworski kept hitting Rod Martin.
Okay, you know who called those plays.
I did.
You're looking at him.
Rod Jaworski.
That's not Rod's fault. You know what I was thinking?
MVP.
I really thought the play would be good because our play action, we'd freeze Martin and get Wilbert out in the flat. Or whoever it was. But anyway, I think, all week long that's going to really get him. Well, the first time we do it, he picks it off. Well, hell, he can't do it twice.
Yeah. Well,
he could do it twice.
I have to tell you, do we have a few seconds?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to tell you a story. I remember the next day. I tell people the best feeling is winning and going to the Super Bowl. The worst feeling you ever have is the morning after you leave the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I got onto the plane to come home, and I heard the players talk among themselves, and they were always saying, you have to be at one of these things to know what it's like. We'll go back next year and win.
Yeah.
Well, next year it took 23 years to get back again. And I was in the locker room last year when the team was set to fly to Arizona for the Super Bowl. And Jalen Hurts, and I talked to him quietly in a corner of the locker room, and he said to me, this is a really good team, and it's going to be good for a long time. I said, Jalen, I have to tell you something. And I told him the story of that team saying, we'll be back next year. I said, you have to play this game like it's the last game you're ever going to play because you don't know when and if you'll get back again.
Right.
Now, and he thanked me for that, and he played a great Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He played a great Super Bowl. And one they should have won.
No, quite. They were a better team.
They were a better team.
No, that's the only rule the NFL doesn't have, that the best team has to win.
Yeah. Are they still a better team than Kansas City?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Do you?
And Kansas City isn't quite what they were. They're maybe a little better on defense, but they're not what they were on offense yet. Andy Reid will get him going, though.
Oh, he will. Yeah. He will, and he's another coach who just loves Dick Vermeil.
Well, we're good friends.
Well, Andy's a great man, but you are the king. You are the best ever. All right, we're going to be back right after this. voice of the Eagles, inviting you to join me and a different Eagles guest every week for Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Listen to the show on both 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM from a different Chickies and Pete's location near you. Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. Hi, it's Merrill. Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa is here to help you distress after the game. Visit them to restore, relax, or refresh with a much-needed massage or facial for an introductory price starting at just $79.95. They offer an abundance of facial and massage services. Visit any one of their 60 spas in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley, or go to handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here's your host, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And it is time for this week's Penworth Financial Keys to the Game. The key to your financial future is Penworth Financial. Call them today at 267-997-4503 or visit penworth.com. Bobby, you and I are going to stay out of it. We usually give the keys to the game. We have the mastermind, one of the great coaches in NFL history, the Hall of Famer. Dick, how about if you can ad-lib 3 keys to the Eagles beating the Dallas Cowboys this Sunday? What would they be?
Number 1, play smart. Don't turn the ball over.
Wait a minute. Let's get your microphone up.
Excuse me. Number 1, don't turn the ball over. Take it away. You know, you can beat inferior teams and be minus in the turnover ratio. It's hard to beat another playoff caliber team and be minus in turnover ratio. Dallas is the number 1 defensive team in football. So you've got to be careful with those guys. You really do. I think the Eagle team right now is the kind of team, the better the team they play, the better they play. I just, you know, they've read so much about how good they are. They think they just go play and win most of the time they can against another good. Like when Miami came in here, Miami, everywhere the world's got them already in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they just annihilated.
They did.
And so, and I wasn't surprised. And I think this kind of team, the better the team they play, the better they play. And it's well coached. They have good football players, no obvious weaknesses. I don't think Dallas can come in here and beat them. I just don't think they can. Now, my computer report says they'll lose by 2.
Is that right?
The Eagles will lose by 2?
That's what it says, yeah.
Huh.
It says that. I don't have this week's report yet. It probably on my cell phone now. It normally comes in late this day from California. But last week's report
is it?
It's pretty accurate who's going to win the game, not very accurate on the point spread. It's amazing many times how accurate it is in number of wins. There are teams, they played 10 games, they weren't wrong in regard to the end result of the game at all in 10 games.
You got to get this out there, Dick.
Dick.
But the point spreads are different.
Yeah.
You know, it seems as if one of the keys to this Eagles team reaching higher and higher levels, and you credited Howie Roseman before, is the fact that they have in recent years concentrated their drafts on the best college teams and conferences, namely Alabama and Georgia.
That's why they win.
Yeah.
They have guys that can play. Plus, they've been in big games. You know, they're experienced playing big games. And I get a kick out of sometimes people say, well, he's just a rookie. He hasn't been in big games. You go to Georgia. I've been there and broadcast Georgia and Alabama in these games. They're big games.
Oh, yeah.
Believe me.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
But
amazing.
I think they play smart, number one, and do what they've been doing. I'd like to see them run the ball more efficiently in the red zone. That's, you know, they're a better team than their red zone performance, and their style of running game is not as good inside the 10-yard line as it is out in the midfield, because, you know, they want to run against 6 in the box. Well, you get close to the goal line, everybody's in the box.
Yeah.
And it makes a little bit difference.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Hurts is limited, you know, his mobility, his knee is sore, that impacts the run game, doesn't it?
Sure it does.
Because they don't have a spy there. And
I promise you, he won't feel any pain playing against Cowboys.
No. I think you're
He's
right.
too competitive. He's too competitive.
The other thing, Dick, is I've made the statement that this is the best group of receivers the Eagles have ever had.
Oh, no
As a
question.
group.
Maybe one of the best groups in the history of the league.
Yeah.
What can they not do?
Well, are they the greatest show on turf? Can they be the greatest show on turf?
Oh yeah,
Which was your great.
Definitely.
Bruce.
There's more talent on this team.
Yeah.
Overall, there's more talent on this team.
Interesting.
that
really
team
interesting.
had Marshall Falk.
Yeah.
And then a couple of Hall of Famers,
Yeah,
Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce.
Well, see, there's 4 guys off the offense already in the Hall of Fame, and Torrey Holt's been in the finals 2 or 3 years in a row.
Okay.
So there'll be 5 guys eventually in there. And there's 1 Hall of Fame player on defense, and that was London Fletcher. Okay, he was a player. But other than that, Kevin Carter, our Super Bowl year was a Hall of Fame player that year. Yeah, but this team overall has more talent.
More talent.
Yeah.
I'll give you another name we don't talk about a lot. Dallas Goedert. He is a clutch player.
Yeah, he's very good. I think it's taken him a little while to get him back into the scheme that they were using a year ago. Yeah, and you'll see. I think you'll continue to see him more in the plan and as part. You don't want to throw the ball more 40 times unless you really have to, because chances are very few quarterbacks win a higher percentage time when they throw more than 40 times.
Yeah.
It's just a stat. Even Rodgers was really bad when he went over 40.
Sure.
His win-loss record.
Sure.
So, when they get that running game going and that stuff,
they're
going to throw the ball well.
I never thought the day would come when I'd yell, Eagles touchdown, Julio Jones.
He's a great guy.
That's what I hear.
He's a great person. I've known a few people that worked with him, and they swear by him. And 34 years old is not too old.
No.
If he takes care of himself, my God, I'll bet he's close to the same speed he always was.
Yeah, and Brian Johnson, the Eagles' offensive coordinator, raved about his work ethic and how the players look up to him and what a leader in a week he's become.
Yeah, well, he also has the ability to run very, very fast, smoothly.
Yeah.
I mean, he has great body. That's what made him a great receiver. He's a contortionist. He has great body control. Yeah.
Have you seen better catches than the ones A.J. Brown made, particularly the one on the side of the end zone?
I've seen some. Yeah, there's more of those today than ever. Oh, but you sort of expect it from him.
You do.
It doesn't surprise you when he does it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. That's what he does.
And then you have Devontae Smith, who can tap the sideline like nobody I've ever seen, getting those feet in.
And he has more to give.
I agree.
He has more to give, especially downfield.
Boy, it's going to be very interesting. All right, we take a moment to pick some games, not the Eagles.
Okay.
No points, just win or lose. All right, Bobby, Giants at Las Vegas.
Can we see the Vermeil computer chart first before these
no
games?
Computer.
No? Okay.
Giants at Las Vegas.
Oh, Raiders.
Raiders. Okay, Dick.
Raiders.
I think the Giants are going to bounce back.
Okay.
All right, Washington at New England. How about Belichick struggling like he has lately?
Yeah, they've had staff changes and all that. Now they've got a new coordinator, and they don't have the big name wide receivers making plays for them.
No,
they really don't. So it's hard for them to win the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
By scoring 21 points and shut the other guy out. And if you're behind with a minute to go, you don't have Tom Brady to take you down there and win for you.
Are you friendly with Belichick at all?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good man?
Yeah, I think he's the best.
The best.
Yeah.
Okay.
He won 300 games,
I'll
God.
All right.
I'll take New England there.
You're taking New England?
Oh, yeah.
Dick.
I'll take Washington.
I'm taking Washington,
okay.
too.
All right.
A game
They gutted their defense.
They traded the defensive lineman today.
You're right. They traded.
But you've never played a game in Frankfurt, Germany.
No.
But Miami and Kansas City are in Frankfurt, Germany at 9:30 on Sunday morning, our time. Who's going to win that?
Kansas City, especially because they lost us last week.
Bobby.
I'd take Miami.
I take
Just
Kansas
for
City.
the heck of it.
All right,
yeah.
Here's a good one. Buffalo at Cincinnati. The Bengals are coming back to life.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'd say Cincinnati.
Bobby.
He's the most pure passer in football.
Burrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the most accurate pure passer in football.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take Buffalo.
You're taking Buffalo, so am I.
I'm rooting for Buffalo, but I'm just being factual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Minnesota. Such a shame that they've
Oh.
lost Cousins for the season because he was playing well.
Yeah.
They're at Atlanta. Take a pick.
They're both
Atlanta.
quarterbacks. Both
Atlanta.
Atlanta's come up with a couple of good games.
I'll take Atlanta too.
Okay. Seattle at Baltimore.
Baltimore. for
Baltimore.
me.
Yeah, I'll take Baltimore.
Tampa Bay at Houston. You know, D'Amico Ryans is doing a good job there.
You think the 49ers might miss him?
I think so.
Yeah.
I really do.
He's doing a great job.
Yeah, he is a special man.
That's why he's doing a great job.
I spent 12 hours with him on a full day
Yeah.
doing Wendy's Baconators commercials. We did radio, we did television, and we did a cutout.
Yeah.
In each Wendy's, there was me and D'Amico holding a Baconator. And you know what? He was bigger than I was.
Yeah.
But what a great guy.
They had to detox.
I think he's doing a hell of a
after
job.
Okay.
He's doing a hell of a job.
Who are you picking? Tampa
Houston.
Bay? Houston.
I'm taking Houston.
Dick.
I'll take Houston.
Okay. And the Chargers at the Jets. Are the Jets?
At the Jets?
At the Jets. Jets are getting a little better, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're playing really good defense, as you know.
It's
yeah,
tough to
and
come
they're-
across
they're-
the country,
I think
too,
they
right?
lead the lead in sacks and pressure the quarterback.
Do you like Zach Wilson? He seems to be getting better, and he has arm
He only had one way to go.
Yeah, it's true.
I'll take the Chargers.
I'll take the Chargers.
Okay, I'm taking the Jets.
Yeah, I could see
I am
that.
taking the
I
Jets.
could see that.
Dick, doing a show with you, there's only one problem. We could do another 3 hours, and we're restricted to an hour. But I
right,
thank you, and I'm honored again that you came out
Yeah,
to do
thank
our
you.
show. And Bobby, thank you, and to all of you who were out there watching and listening, we thank you. And Chris Ermer is our wonderful producer of
Chris,
this show.
thank you.
And once again, Lee Alexander is here and did absolutely nothing. So for all of us, thank you for joining us, and good night, everyone. You're listening to 1490 WBCB, Levittown, Fairless Hills, Trenton, and now heard as well on FM at 107.3 FM, W297CL, Levittown.